Sean never thought a watch could change his life. He was only walking through the quiet night market of New Seoul Station, tired after another shift repairing shuttle engines, when he saw an old stall glowing faint blue. The stall was run by an alien trader, a hunched zircon with silver eyes and wrinkled scales. His hands shook as he placed objects on a faded cloth, and Shun almost walked past. But something about the stall pulled him closer. Simple watch. Human style, the zircon croaked. His voice carried like dry leaves. On the cloth was a plain metal watch, nothing fancy, just an old tick-tock design with a black strap. No hollow display, no smart functions. Just time. Chun frowned. Why would I want that? I already have a command. The zircon leaned forward. This watch does not tell hours. It tells moments. His scaled hand pushed the watch closer. Only 50 credits. Chun laughed. 50 credits was almost nothing. He had wasted more on vending machine noodles. Out of curiosity, he bought it. He strapped it on, feeling the strange coolness of the metal. The old zircon nodded, as if sealing some silent contract. When Chun left the stall, he found the market strangely quieter. The neon sign still buzzed, and the air smelled of fried seaweed and engine grease. But it felt as if the world had shifted by 1 degree. He shook his head and went home. At midnight. As Chun sat in his small apartment, overlooking the empty shuttle docks, he heard a whisper. At first, he thought it was the wind slipping through the vents. But the whisper grew clearer, delicate and trembling. He turned and saw her, a tiny alien girl, no older than 8, with pale violet skin and wide golden eyes. Her silver hair floated like mist, and she wore a simple robe that looked stitched from starlight. She stood near his bed, barefoot, her eyes fixed on the watch strapped to his wrist. Chun froze. Who are you? How did you get in here? The girl tilted her head. Her voice was soft, almost like a song. Your bride comes in 3 minutes. Chun blinked. What, bride? Are you lost? Where's your family? But the girl did not answer. She only pointed at the watch. The second hand ticked louder than before, echoing in the small room. He stood, heart racing, looking around for a hidden projector or prank. This is not funny, he muttered. But the girl remained, eyes unblinking, face calm like the surface of deep water. The door chime rang. Chun jumped. Midnight. Exactly 3 minutes after the whisper. When he opened the door, Sarah was standing there. She was tall, with dark hair braided neatly, her eyes tired but strong. She wore the uniform of the Interstellar Registry, the badge of a junior investigator clipped to her chest. Chun knew her faintly. He had seen her in the repair bay last month, speaking to Yong-hoon, one of his colleagues. But why was she here? Chun? She asked, surprised. I didn't expect you to be the one answering. Chun stammered. What do you mean? Why are you here at midnight? Before Sarah could answer, another figure appeared in the hallway. Zex, the Zarkonian enforcer. His armor gleamed black, his 4 eyes burning crimson. His voice rumbled like thunder. Registry officer, step aside. The human must be taken for questioning. Chun froze. Sarah stepped in front of him, blocking the enforcer. Not without due process, she snapped. Her voice carried authority, though Chun noticed her hand shaking near her holster. The tiny alien girl whispered again, though only Chun seemed to hear her. Protect her. She will protect you. Chun's heart pounded. He looked from the watch on his wrist to Sarah, standing firm before him. He realized this was no accident. The watch, the girl, the midnight warning, something had chosen him. The enforcer moved forward, heavy boots thundering. Sarah drew her stun pistol. The corridor lights flickered. Chun made his choice. He stepped beside Sarah, fists clenched, voice steady. "If you want me, you go through both of us." The Zircon's words returned to him. This watch does not tell hours. It tells moments. This was his moment. The corridor outside. Chun's apartment shook with the heavy steps of the Zarkonian enforcer. Zex was a giant compared to any human, his armor plates clicking as they flexed, each movement powered by hidden servos. His 4 crimson eyes glowed in the dim light, scanning Chun and Sarah as if they were insects. Sarah's stun pistol hummed, the blue coil charging. She raised her voice. "Step back, Zex. This is New Sol Station. Registry law applies here." But the enforcer only growled. "Registry law does not bind this Arconian pact. The human carries the moment watch. He is bound by ancient claim. He must come." Chun felt his stomach twist. Moment watch? The plain metal strap on his wrist now felt heavier than chains. The second hand ticked louder, each sound like a hammer striking steel. He glanced at Sarah, who gave him a quick nod, her jaw tight. The little alien girl appeared again, though no one else seemed to notice her. She stood in the corner of the hallway, eyes glowing faintly gold, her robe fluttering like it was caught in some invisible breeze. She whispered to Chun, only for him. 3 doors, 2 choices. Stand or fall. Before Chun could ask what she meant, Zex charged. The enforcer's bulk slammed forward like a storm. Sarah fired, blue arcs of energy striking Zex's chest. Sparks scattered, but the armor absorbed most of the impact. Zex roared and swung his massive arm, the blow smashing a dent into the corridor wall as Sarah dodged barely in time. Chun's instincts from his old Marine training kicked in. He grabbed Sarah's arm and pulled her sideways. Service tunnel there. He remembered the layout of the station from years of maintenance work. They sprinted toward a side hatch while Zex roared behind them. The hatch was locked, a red light blinking. Sarah slammed her registry badge against the scanner. Override, Sioyan 4431. The lock hissed, the hatch sliding open just enough for them to slip through. They tumbled into the narrow service corridor, pipes humming around them. The air was hot, smelling of oil and ozone. Behind them, Zex's armored fists pounded the hatch, the metal groaning. Sarah caught her breath. "Chun, what is going on? Why are they after you?" Chun lifted his wrist, showing the watch. "This, I bought it at the market. Some Zircon sold it to me. Said it tells moments. Then a little alien girl appeared and told me my bride was coming." Sarah blinked at him, stunned. "Bride?" "Chun, that's—" Before she could finish, the watch ticked once, and the little girl appeared in the corridor beside them. Sarah gasped and stepped back. "You can see her?" Chun asked quickly. Sarah shook her head. "No, I felt something, but I don't see anything." The girl's golden eyes fixed on Chun. "Protect her. Protect yourself. The moment watch marks you both now." She raised her hand and pointed down the corridor. 3 minutes to the next turn. 3 minutes to choose. Then she faded like smoke in the wind. Sarah's face was pale. "Chun, I believe you. Something is binding you, and now I'm caught in it too." He nodded grimly. "Then we moved together." They ran deeper into the maintenance tunnels, their footsteps echoing. Pipes rattled overhead as alarms began to blare through the station. "Security breach," the automated voice repeated. "Sector 12 lockdown in progress." Zex was close behind. They could hear his armored body forcing its way through the hatch, metal shrieking under his strength dot at the next turn. Chun slowed. A security drone floated into view, its sensors glowing red. It scanned them, then its speakers crackled. "Unauthorized movement. Identify." Sarah raised her pistol again, but Chun held her hand down. Wait. He stepped forward, lifting his wrist. The watch glimmered faintly, though it was only a plain human design. To his surprise, the drone's sensors flickered. It retracted its weapons and moved aside, almost bowing. Sarah's mouth opened. What did you just do? I don't know, Sean admitted. But I think this watch isn't just some trinket. It controls more than time. It makes choices bend around me. The sound of crashing metal grew louder. Zex had broken through. The floor trembled as the enforcer closed the distance. Sarah grabbed Sean's arm. Then whatever this is, you better use it fast. Because if that thing catches us, we're finished. Sean looked at the watch. The second hand ticked once more, louder, as if answering. And then, for the first time, the face of the watch glowed. Numbers appeared that weren't there before. 259. Counting down. The little girl's whisper came again, brushing against his ears like wind. 3 minutes. 3 doors. Choose, Chun. Chun clenched his fists, staring at the glowing countdown. His moment was coming again. The glowing numbers on the watch. 259. 258. 257 burned in Shun's vision. Each tick echoed like a drumbeat inside his chest. Sarah gripped her stun pistol with both hands, sweat shining on her forehead as they ran through the narrow maintenance tunnels. Pipes steamed, alarms wailed, and somewhere behind them, Zex's heavy steps pounded like a monster hunting prey. 3 doors, Shun muttered under his breath, remembering the girl's whisper. 3 choices. What are you talking about? Sarah snapped, keeping pace beside him. The girl, she said, 3 doors. We'll have to choose. They rounded a corner and came to a junction. Just like the whisper said, 3 doors stood before them. One led left, marked with yellow hazard stripes and the word reactor access. The second door was straight ahead, with a red sign, Docking Bay 2. The third door to the right had no markings at all, just a plain steel hatch with an old manual wheel. Sarah stopped, panting. Which one? The countdown on the watch ticked louder. 2 o'clock. Chun stared at the doors. Reactor access will be crawling with security drones. Docking Bay might have patrols. But the unmarked hatch. He hesitated. It could be a trap. Before Sarah could answer, the wall behind them groaned. Zex had forced his way closer, his crimson eyes already glowing in the tunnel shadows. His voice thundered. No more running, human. Give me the watch, and I will let the woman live. Sarah raised her pistol, glaring at the enforcer. Don't listen to him, Chun. The watch ticked again. 1:30. Shun's heart raced. He glanced at Sarah, then back at the doors. Trust me? Sarah met his eyes. For a moment, all the alarms and pounding steps faded. Her voice was steady. Yes, I trust you. Chun grabbed the wheel of the unmarked hatch and turned. The metal screeched, reluctant, but finally gave way. Together they slipped inside, sealing it behind them just as Zex's fist slammed into the steel. Inside was silence. The air was cool, almost too cool, and the floor beneath their boots was smooth stone instead of metal plating. The narrow tunnel curved downward, glowing faintly with embedded crystals that pulsed like living veins. Sarah whispered, stunned. This isn't station architecture. Shun nodded. No, this is older. Alien. The watch ticked louder, the glow on its face reflecting off the crystals. The countdown reached 0:59. A soft giggle echoed through the tunnel. They spun around, weapons ready. The tiny alien girl appeared again, her golden eyes shining brighter. She walked barefoot across the stone floor, her robe flowing like liquid starlight. Sarah stiffened. Chun, she's real? I can see her now. The girl smiled faintly. Because the moment has chosen you both. The watch binds pairs, protector and bride. Her small hand reached toward Sarah. "She is the bride." Sarah froze, her pistol trembling in her grip. "What are you talking about?" Chun shook his head quickly. "This has to be a mistake. I just bought this thing in the market." "I don't." The girl's eyes hardened, more ancient than any child should be. "The moment watch was forged before your empires. It finds humans who stand at the edge of choice. It binds them to those who will stand with them, together or not at all." Before they could reply, the tunnel shook violently. The hatch behind them exploded inward. Zex burst through, shards of steel falling like knives. His roar shook the chamber. "Enough riddles. The watch belongs to the Pact." Sarah fired, bolts of blue energy slamming into Zex. Chun grabbed her arm and pulled her behind a crystal pillar as the enforcer advanced, each step rattling the stone. The countdown on the watch flashed 0:15, 0:14. The little girl whispered in Chun's ear, her voice cold and sharp. "Choose now. Stand with her or lose everything." Chun looked at Sarah. She was breathing hard. Her uniform scorched from sparks, but her eyes were steady, still trusting him. The watch flared, flooding the tunnel with golden light. Zex shielded his eyes, roaring. The crystals hummed in resonance. Chun gritted his teeth. He wrapped his hand around Sarah's wrist. "I choose to stand with her." The countdown hit 0 o'clock. The golden light surged, and the tunnel around them shifted. The air bent, gravity twisted, and in an instant, Chun, Sarah, and the tiny alien girl vanished from the maintenance tunnels of New Sol Station. Zex's roar echoed in the empty chamber. Furious and alone, the golden light faded, and Chun gasped as his boots struck solid ground again. For a moment, he thought they were still inside the tunnels, but the air was different here. It was cooler, sharper, with a faint scent like burned stone and salt. He blinked, eyes adjusting, and realized they were standing in a vast chamber that looked nothing like New Sol Station. The walls were carved from black crystal, tall spires rising like frozen lightning bolts. Strange glyphs shimmered faintly across the surfaces, glowing blue and silver. Above them was no ceiling, only a sky filled with stars. Too many, too close. As if they stood outside reality, Sarah lowered her pistol slowly, her eyes wide. "Chun, where are we?" The tiny alien girl stood before them, her golden eyes calm. "You are in the Vault of Moments. It rests between worlds. Here, the watch chooses." Chun swallowed hard, looking around. "Chooses what?" The girl's gaze shifted to Sarah, then back to Chun. "It chooses who binds. Protector and bride. It weaves two paths into one." Sarah stiffened, lowering her pistol. "This is insane. I'm not anyone's bride. I'm an officer of the registry." The girl tilted her head. "You think the word means wedding, but the watch does not care for human papers. Bride means bond, the one who walks beside you when the choice burns." Chun rubbed his temples, trying to make sense of it. "Why me? I was just a mechanic. I just bought a stupid watch." The girl shook her head slowly. "Not stupid, fated. The Zircon merchant only kept it safe. But the watch found you. It always finds the one ready to stand." Before Chun could argue, the chamber trembled. A deep growl echoed through the crystal walls. Sarah tensed, scanning the darkness. "He's coming," she whispered, and she was right. A tear of red light split the chamber wall, jagged and violent. From it stepped Zex, his armored body glowing with fury. His four crimson eyes locked on Chun, his voice like a storm. "You cannot hide in the vault. The Pact has claim on the watch. Hand it over, or both of you die." The girl's form flickered, her voice urgent. "The vault will test you. If you stand, The watch awakens fully. If you fall, he takes it. Chun felt his hands shake, but he forced himself to step forward. I don't care about your pact, Zex. I didn't ask for this, but I'm not letting you take it. Not while she's here. He nodded at Sarah. Sarah glanced at him, surprise flashing in her eyes, then steadied her stance. And we fight together. The glyphs on the crystal walls lit up, pulsing in rhythm with the watch. The countdown returned on its face, glowing brighter. 3 o'clock. Zex roared and charged, his armored fist swinging like a hammer. Chun shoved Sarah aside, barely avoiding the blow. The impact shattered the floor where they had stood. Shards of black crystal scattering like glass. Sarah fired her stun pistol again, the blue arc striking Zex's back. He staggered but did not fall, his armor crackling. Pathetic toys, the enforcer growled. He spun, his arm slamming into Sarah's chest. She hit the ground hard, gasping for air. Chun's blood surged. He lunged, tackling Zex from behind. The enforcer roared, twisting, but Chun clung to him, fists hammering at the armor seams. His marine training told him exactly where the weak points might be: joints, underplates, exposed servos. Sparks flew as his knuckles bruised against metal. The watch ticked louder, glowing against his wrist. The little girl's whisper cut through the chaos. Not alone. With her. Chun looked back. Sarah was struggling to her feet, coughing, but she lifted her pistol again. Their eyes met. Chun shouted, "Together!" She nodded, and they moved as one. Chun grappled Zex's arm, forcing it upward, while Sarah aimed and fired point-blank at the exposed seam in the enforcer's neck. Blue light flared, and Zex roared in pain, stumbling. The watch's glow intensified, flooding the vault with golden light. The glyphs on the walls blazed like fire. Chun felt energy surge through him, into Sarah, and back again, like they were linked. The watch was no longer ticking seconds, it was pulsing with their heartbeat. Zex dropped to one knee, armor sparking, his voice hoarse. Impossible, no human should stand against the pact. Sarah stood beside Chun, both of them braced, the golden light wrapping them like a shield. Her voice was steady. Get used to disappointment. The countdown on the watch struck 0 o'clock again. The golden light exploded outward, hurling Zex back into the rift of red light. With a final roar, he was swallowed by it, the tier ceiling shut behind him. Silence fell in the vault. Chun collapsed to his knees, breathing hard, the watch still glowing faintly. Sarah lowered her pistol, her hands trembling, but her eyes never left him. The tiny alien girl stepped closer, her voice calm once more. The choice is made. The watch has bound you, protector and bride. Chun looked at Sarah, his chest heaving. She looked back, stunned but unafraid. The girl smiled faintly. Now your real trial begins. The vault of moments was silent, except for the faint hum of the glowing glyphs. Chun stood slowly, his wrist heavy with the watch, its glow softening but still alive. Sarah steadied herself, bruised but unbroken, her pistol clutched loosely at her side. The tiny alien girl faced them both, golden eyes gleaming like twin suns. Chun's voice was low, rough. We beat him, but you said the real trial is only beginning. What does that mean? The girl tilted her head, robe flowing like mist. Zex was only a hunter. The pact will send more. The watch does not just choose protectors. It chooses bridges. Humans can cross where others cannot. Sarah frowned. Bridges? Between what? The girl raised her small hand, and the chamber shifted. The black crystal walls shimmered, changing into visions. Chun and Sarah saw whole worlds' vast cities floating above seas, jungles crawling with machines, Zarkonian warfleets burning colonies. They saw alien races, some human allies, others enslaved, all bound by tangled chains of treaties and wars. The watch carries ancient power, the girl explained. It was made when your kind was still learning fire. It waits for humans, because humans do not bend the way others do. When others bow, you resist. When others obey, you question. That is why the pact fears you. That is why you are chosen. Sarah's hands tightened around her pistol. So this isn't about marriage. It's about survival. The girl smiled faintly. Marriage of fates. Protector and bride. Two paths locked as one. It is not about vows of love. It is about choice shared at the edge of fear. Chun glanced at Sarah, meeting her eyes. So, we're bound now. Not romantically, but bound to fight together. Sarah nodded slowly, her jaw firm. I can live with that. The girl stepped closer. The watch will test you again. Not with brute strength, but with decision. The pact will offer you safety, comfort, power. If you surrender. But if you stand, you will carry not just your own lives, but the fate of others who still believe in freedom. The visions shifted again. Chun saw a city of humans and aliens, side by side, walls falling, children laughing. Then the vision turned dark chains, fire, Zex's crimson eyes watching over slaves. The choice was clear. Chun clenched his fists. I didn't ask for this. But if the watch chose me, then I'll carry it. I'll protect her, and we'll fight them together. Sarah smiled faintly, though her eyes carried the same steel. Guess that makes me the so-called bride. Fine, if that's what it takes. The watch pulsed once, golden light flowing from Chun's wrist into both of them. The glyphs of the vault flared, brighter than before, and the little girl's form began to fade, her voice soft like the last note of a song. Then the watch accepts. Walk together, protector and bride. When the next moment comes, remember, 3 choices, 1 bond. Do not break it. The chamber collapsed into light. Chun woke with a gasp, lying on the floor of his small apartment. The night market's hum echoed faintly outside, as if no time had passed. Sarah lay beside him, groaning but alive. Her pistol still in her hand, the watch on his wrist ticked softly, ordinary once again. No glow, no countdown. Just a simple human design. Sarah sat up slowly, looking around. We're back? Chun nodded. Seems like it. He rubbed the watch, half expecting it to burn him. But it was cool, quiet, normal. Except it wasn't, because he could still feel it deep in his chest, in his heartbeat. The bond. Sarah met his gaze, then gave a tired laugh. So, protector and bride, huh? Guess we're stuck with each other now. Chun smirked faintly. Could be worse. At least you can shoot straight. Her smile softened, the hard edges of duty melting for a moment. And you don't run when things get ugly. That's something. They both sat in silence, the weight of what had happened hanging between them. Outside, the neon glow of New Seoul Station pulsed against the window, the city moving on as if nothing had changed. But Chun knew everything had changed. Somewhere, Zex and the Pact would be regrouping. The watch would not stay quiet forever. And when the next moment came, he and Sarah would be ready. Chun looked at the ticking watch, then at Sarah. He whispered to himself, "This watch doesn't tell hours. It tells moments." Sarah leaned back against the wall, closing her eyes, but smiling faintly. Then let's make the next one count. And for the first time, Chun felt not fear, but certainty. Humanity had always stood at the edge of impossible odds. And this time, with Sarah beside him, he would stand again. The watch ticked once, like a heartbeat. The bond was sealed.